had some somewhat unfortunate news Thursday night, and that was Calais Campbell signed with the Miami Dolphins. And I was hoping there would be a return for him in Atlanta. He and Bud Dupree led the team in sacks last year with 6.5. And now the Falcons have officially moved on from both of their co-sack leaders from last year. Campbell go to the Dolphins, Bud Dupree going to the LA Chargers. So, with that, here is your pass rushing core for 2024. Arnold Ebiketie leads the way with a total of 6 sacks. Lorenzo Carter comes in with 3. Grady Jarrett missed half of the year, so I don't want to hold that against him. Zach Harrison contributed 3 sacks at the end of the 2023 season. I guess we can give an honorable mention to David Onyemata, but he is much more of a run stopper than a true pass rusher. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned about the Falcons' pass rush. They did make some additions in the draft. Braylon Trice, third-round pick out of Washington, but I'm not convinced that he's going to be an impact player in his first year as a rookie. I mean, there are a lot of guys who went round 3 at the edge position that had very little contributions their first season in the NFL. So there's a lot of faith right now from Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot in the youngins, as we'll call them. Braylon Trice being a part of that group, but also like Arnold Ebiketie going into year 3, Zach Harrison going into year 2, the other draft picks they made, Brandon Dorless, Rukarororo. Like, there are a lot of young players on this front 5 that are going to have to step up to the plate this year because they're all the Falcons got when it comes to pass rushers. So I thought I'd help Terry Fontenot out a little bit by going over some potential targets to bring in the cavalry at the pass rushing position. Starting off with Matthew Judon, the Patriots outside linebacker. I came across a Bleacher Report article, which isn't the gospel, but it can be a good starting point, that listed the Falcons as a Matthew Judon trade destination. Now, Bleacher Report proposed that Judon goes to Atlanta for a 2025 third and a 2026 fifth-round draft pick. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a whole lot from Judon last season. An injury cut his season short very early, only played 4 games, which was a career low for the former Baltimore Raven. In those 4 games, though, he was pretty impressive, like 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. So sure, not a huge sample size, but he was effective. And then when you look at Judon's stretch from 2019 to 2022, the guy was on fire. 9.5 sacks, 6 sacks, 12.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks. If Atlanta can get that version of Matthew Judon in a trade, I'd be all over. Who wouldn't be all over that? Now, the question is, does Atlanta want to pony up a 3rd and a 5th-round draft pick for a guy coming off 4 games and 4 sacks last year? My gut tells me probably not. I'm not even sure if the Patriots have a lot of interest in moving on from Matthew Judon, but Bill Belichick's gone, so maybe you see a little bit of a shakeup. I think this is a little bit on the richer side for Judon. I'm definitely entertaining the idea of trading for him. Not so sold on the idea of giving up a 3rd and a 5th-round draft pick, especially when you lost your 5th-rounder to the Kirk Cousins tampering, which, it's kind of a drop in the bucket, but at the same time, 5th-round pick isn't completely useless like a 7th-rounder. So I'll turn it over to you guys at home. Would you do this trade? What do you think? Like, the way I like to test things out like this is if you got the notification from Falcons Today, because you have your notifications on, I know you do, and it said the Falcons just traded for Matthew Judon for a 3rd and a 5th-round draft pick, are you going to be pumped up about that? Chances are yes. So I'm definitely entertaining the idea. I still think it's a little bit on the higher end, but I'm not going to give it a hard no. Second option, I'm going to go with a free agent, Yannick Ngakoue, someone we have talked about on the channel a handful of times, especially last offseason. Not as much this offseason because Ngakoue comes off, like Judon, a shortened season. He only played 13 games before suffering a season-ending ankle injury with the Bears, but he's been posting videos of him working out and training, so to me, he looks like he's ready to play in the NFL again. But I think Yannick Ngakoue does not get enough credit for how good of a pass rusher he is. Keyword pass rusher. All right, here is a very short list of active players with multiple 8+ sack seasons. Von Miller leads the way. He has 10 8+ sack seasons. Khalil Mack, Justin Houston, Cameron Jordan all tied with 8. And then Yannick Ngakoue at 7. That's the list. Like, 7 or more seasons of 8+ sacks. Yannick Ngakoue is on that list, and there's a lot of really good guys on this list. So listen, if you want to get Yannick Ngakoue in for pass rush, he's your man. Like, if you want Yannick Ngakoue to pitch in and stop the run, he is not your man. But I don't need Yannick Ngakoue to stop the run. I've got Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata. I've got those guys to stop the run. Bring Ngakoue in for third down, obvious passing situations. Let him pin his ears back and just be a heat-seeking missile to the quarterback. He's not going to play a high volume of snaps. That's perfectly fine. Not asking him. What I need from Yannick Ngakoue is on 3rd and 9 in the fourth quarter in a 2-minute drill, when you know they're passing, to get to the quarterback. And I think he can contribute in that area. Before we look at the third and final edge target, I love to look at the analytics for you guys, and I was comparing the likes between Falcons Today and Saints Now, our biggest rival, within the walls of Chat Sports, and it's pretty close. I mean, we're up by about 300 or so likes, but it's not that big of a margin. Like, the Saints channel could definitely overtake us. So if you have not liked today's video yet, please go ahead and do so. And just as a casual reminder, make sure to like all of our videos because we're always competitive here at Chat Sports. We had our scorecard reviews, as we call it, going over every single channel's YouTube metrics and analytics. And I want Falcons Today to get some more love from the bosses. So hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Number 3 when it comes to edge targets, how about Markus Golden? Okay, he might not be a household name, but he has had some good seasons in the NFL. Last year, he was in Pittsburgh. He did not start for the Steelers. He was a rotational pass rusher. Contributed 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. He's had some good years in the NFL, though. Go back to 2016, 2019, and 2021, 12.5 sacks, 10 sacks, 11 sacks. So he tends to be a bit streaky, and so I look at this as, looks like he's due to me. Like, it's been a few years since his last 10-plus sack season. I'm sensing a breakout 2024. Kind of. Probably not. But just trying to get some good vibes going out there. Listen, I can't be a great salesman for Markus Golden because this is the best I can find. There's just not a lot of good options out there. Welcome to NFL free agency in June. All the best players have been signed. Like, there's just not going to be a guy that's going to walk in the building and save the day at this point in the calendar. But hopefully you can find people that can be solid contributors and can pitch in for some big plays here or there that, sure, they may not lead the team in sacks. They may not go and be a Pro Bowl defender for this team. But if I told you right now that there's a man on the street that can go to the Falcons roster and get them 5 to 6 sacks this year, would you say no? No, of course not. They did that last year. Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, that led them in sacks. So if you can get a little bit of more juice out of Yannick Ngakoue and Markus Golden for cheap contracts, where do I sign? So to revisit our top 3 edge targets, Matthew Judon via trade with the Patriots, and then a pair of free agents, Yannick Ngakoue and Markus Golden. I've got them ranked in the priority I would pursue them. But let me know what you think about this list down in the comment section. And how would you grade the Falcons defense? A, B, C, D, or F? I think it's a C defense. That may not be what you want to hear, but they've got some good pieces. Jesse Bates is fantastic. He's an all-pro safety. A.J. Terrell is a really good corner. And then there's a lot of wishful thinking in some other spots. Grady Jarrett's terrific, but he's 30 years old coming off a torn ACL. Like, you could be a little bit iffy on that front if we're being nitpicky here. But to me, I think it's a C grade. Let me know what you would grade the Falcons defense down below. Okay, before we get on out of here one last time, make sure to like the video. And if you want to be a superstar, go like the other videos that you haven't liked already. That way we can really separate ourselves from Saints Now in likes. All right, that's going to do it for us on this edition of Falcons Today. I always appreciate those of you that tune into our content. So if you're still watching, you know what I'm going to say next. Give me an ATL down below in the comment section.